so I'm on my campsite in Markdorf. I've had a day off today, where I'm staying in the teepee. I've just washed my bike. It's cleaner than me at the minute. So I was going to make a quick video giving you a rundown of what my bike is, what changes I've made to it, and how I've got it set up. Okay, first of all, when I said I cleaned it, mainly just meant the moving parts, the important bits. The frame is a bit manky at the minute. So it is a Giant Revolt 2 2017 model. I bought it last year in 2018 in the sale. It's called an adventure bike, or a gravel bike, but I actually went in to buy a nice lady's bike, and they said, you know, for the same amount of money you could get a lot more bike, to be honest. And it's a shame that Liv, you know, the Giants women's brand, don't seem to really do an adventure or a gravel bike. Otherwise I'd have one. So it's a size small, and yeah, I think I'm small in the women's as well. The only when I bought it, I had the stem. I got a short stem put on it, and other than that, I don't think I had any other changes made. I'd say the handlebars are maybe a little bit wide for me, but otherwise it's actually really comfortable, and I can't really complain because obviously I've done a lot of miles on it now. Should actually point out I've done 1,000 miles, and yeah, it's been fine. So right, I'll go through it bit by bit now. Okay, we're going to start with the tyres. Now, the tyres I have got on are Schwalbe Road Cruiser. It's 700 wheels, obviously, and they're 35C. It came with 50C knobbly tyres on, and quite frankly I only bought these tyres, which were an eBay steal, bought a pair of them for about 25 quid, because I like the tan sidewall, because I think they're fancy. But no, I wanted some summer tyres, the knobbly ones. Oh, 50C, they are the comfiest thing ever. They are as comfy as riding a hardtail, but slow. Yeah, it's slower than my road bike, so I thought I wouldn't put skinnies on, but 35C is a good compromise. I did agonise a little bit before I left about whether or not I should put my knobblies on or these ones. I am really, really glad I chose these, because I'd say 99% of the riding I've been doing, actually last few days has been a bit of gravel. Helicopter going overhead, my BM sticks quo. Yeah, 99% of the riding I've been doing has been on absolutely smooth as anything tarmac. It has been, I couldn't wish for better. And yeah, they're just the standard wheels that came with the bike. Down here, I did a video about this when I was just testing out the video editing software. I've got a dynamo fitted by Peloton in Liverpool. I ordered the parts myself from Germany. Funnily enough, it's a Shimano dynamo. Can't remember what make it is. And yeah, that I have just, the charger, I don't know why actually it's not attached because I just took it off to wash. It's just quite amateurly stuck on with electrical tape at the moment, because I take the charger unit off at night and things, so it doesn't get wet. It has got, well, the hybrid hydraulic and mechanical brakes, which will lead me to the head unit. So yeah, these Giant Revolts come with this strange little head unit. This is the mount. It's actually a Garmin mount. I use a Wahoo, but I've got a 3D printed attachment, so it sits in there fine. So the hybrid, there is a cable leads from the brifters to the head unit, where there's an exchange. Don't know what goes on in here, some magic goes on in here, which changes it to hydraulic. So you can see when I brake, watch this, it goes in and out. It wasn't in focus, but you get the idea. Which enables, or for whatever side reason, means you've got this mount unit which sits on the front. When I'm at home, it also has a little holder there for my front light. Now, this is where I'll tell you a little story. I took it off just a few days before I left. Took the front light unit off because I have a handlebar bag here at the moment. Because there's just so much going on here, I forgot these screws go right the way back. They're really, really long, and I just forgot to tighten them all the way in. So one day I'm riding along and I cycled down off a curb. My handlebars just went doink. Just they were completely loose and went down. So I took it. Luckily, it happened right around the corner from the Giant shop. So I took it in and got them to tighten it with the torque wrench to make sure it was the exact right tightness. But on this journey a few days ago, there's a couple of descents I did. Now I've had because I'm short of arm. I have had the handlebars tilted upwards a little bit, which was a tip I got off GCN. That's what Emma Pooley does. Yeah, so I've had them tilted upwards to like shorten the reach. And twice I went down a descent. I was braking really hard, and as I got to like the flat, it did it again. And I was really, really surprised to find that these had actually loosened. So that is something I am going to have to keep an eye on. Okay, so while I'm here, I will just point out that yes, during the course of my adventure, I have managed to lose both bar ends. Before I left, I put new bar tape on, and it is already looking quite a bit, come on the other side, it's looking quite a bit worse for wear, because, let me see there, I have to lean this up against trees and walls quite a lot. Every other touring bike is my repair with some, honestly God, everything has been repaired with electrician's tape on this trip. It's been absolutely invaluable. Yeah, I have to lean up against things all the time. Other touring bikes have stands, and that is something I would definitely consider getting added to my bike. So yeah, bar tape, bar plugs. What next? Okay, another peculiar feature these Giant Revolts have is, instead of having it's got like the cheaper version of internal cabling. It's got this like plastic case here over the brake and gear cables that go to the rear, which is nice, keeps it looking nice and tidy. But it originally had mud flaps here either side as well, quite big ones, which actually did nothing. They didn't do anything. I had muddy legs on more than one occasion, and I'm not the type of rider who has to worry about aero gains or anything like that, but they definitely weren't aerodynamic. They were like two big wings coming off here pointing the wrong way, so took them off. That's just the cable for my dynamo. 2 water bottle cages and a little mini pump, which, touch wood, I have not had to use yet. That's a bit boring. The pedals. When I bought the bike, I just had to stick any pedals you've got on, and they give me these ones with cages. I actually quite like them. They had straps on them, which I took off because they just used to trail on the floor. Excuse me, I'm just getting a little beer crate to sit on. God, sorry, my parents are going to be watching this bored stiff. Right, so yeah, I took them off. Now, not once on my other bike at home, I've got a Specialized Dulce road bike, an old one, second-hand one. I do clip in. I've got SPD pedals on that. Not once on this journey have I thought, God, I wish I was clipped in. On many occasions I've thought, thank God I am not clipped in. Thank God I'm not wearing horrible, uncomfortable road bike shoes. Especially, you know, sometimes I don't know where I'm going. Sometimes you just come around a corner and all of a sudden it's a massive steep descent, ascent, and you're in the wrong gear, and I just need to put my foot down. Happens quite a lot. But the nice thing about them is, it's like when you're in the wrong position, when you stop, you can just move your feet into the right position to get going again. Right, so the chain set, the drive chain, it's Shimano Sora. It's fine. It's got, what is it, 48 to 32 on the front. It came with 1132 on the back. When I put it in for a service, I put an 1136 cassette on the back. The chain had to get replaced as well, because I've only had it a year, almost exactly a year, and I did not look after the chain. I've not put any oil on this chain yet, but I have given it a good scrub with, not the greatest scrub, but I give it a scrub with a toothbrush just now. Yeah, I don't know what more to say about that. It's standard. Right, okay. The seat post along with the fork are made out of carbon. It's a comfy bike, I can't say. I don't know whether it dampens much. To me, the big fat tyres do all the work and dampening. And yeah, so they're not very much exciting to say about that. The saddle, I love this saddle. So when I went to Mallorca, I hired a nice Canyon Ultimate. That was back in October last year. It was a fancy Zenithon bike. It had Di2 on it. It was gorgeous. It was full carbon. I wouldn't give you any money for Di2. I don't get the point of it at all. I'm not that good a rider. But it had this saddle on it, and I came home and bought one straight away. It is not just like a problem-free saddle. It is actually a joy to sit on. I love this saddle. Zelitalia Diva Lady Gel Flow technology. The bike came with a men's saddle on it. Like I say, it's a man's bike. And it was I really didn't get along with it. The thing about men's saddles, if you don't know, is they are narrower because men have narrower hip bones, and it felt like sitting on a washing line. It was really uncomfortable. Didn't feel balanced on it at all. Then I put a Brooks B17 on it because everyone online says they're the best saddles for touring on it. I did the required 300 miles to break it in. Hated it. I just went out for a ride one day and I thought, I'm going out for a ride, and I thought, but before I do that, I'm taking that godforsaken saddle off. It was really making my life a misery. It was slidey, so every time I stopped, I used to kind of like slide off it. And it was just really, really hard. It just had no give in it at all. So I hated it. And this has been a very, very good saddle for the journey. I have had absolutely no problems at all, other than a little bit of numbness in my fingers. Honest to God, I've had no aches and pains, no sores, nothing this journey. The last thing I think I'm just going to come to, not very exciting, but is the rack. I bought a rack for this bike last year. I went touring last year in Wales for about 2 weeks. And I bought a disc brake specific one because you think the stays are wider on disc brake bikes, and it was too wide and it wasn't flexible. I just couldn't get it on at all. So this is just the standard one. I think it's from Halfords. But with these giant bikes, these compact frames, you've got this dropped seat stay here. This is meant to attach down here. So originally I tried that. I think I just bodged these two together and attached it down here. And on our first day of touring from Hay-on-Wye, one of them just pinged off, which was just terrifying. Luckily, Hay-on-Wye had a fantastic bike shop, and within an hour they had stuck this new seat post clamp on for me, which the stays are held onto. So it's fastened down there and it's fastened there, and it is cracking. It's just, I haven't had to worry about it. I do check it all the time. It's got a little light fixed on the back, battery light, which I'm fine about. I'd rather change a battery once every few weeks than have to worry about charging it every goddamn day. That's from Claes Olsen. Yeah, and that is my setup. So yes, Giant Revolt 2 2017, but from Giant in Liverpool, and it's been doing me an absolute solid